Back to follow-up segment tonight. Last night, we played you a clip of Michigan State University professor William Penn telling his English class that Republicans are evil. The professor's rant was totally out of context to the class and downright vicious.
I'm a college professor. If I find out you're a closet racist, I'm coming after you. Okay? This country still is full of closet racists. What do you think is going on in South Carolina and North Carolina? Voter suppression is about getting black people not to vote. Why? Because black people tend to vote Democratic. So why would Republicans want to do it? Well, because Republicans are not a majority in this country anymore. They're a bunch of dead white people or dying white people.
Well, now Penn has been reassigned by the university, taken out of the classroom. Joining us from Lansing, Michigan, 19-year-old Evan Rouge, a sophomore at Michigan State. He was the student who taped Penn's remarks. First of all, why'd you do that?
Well, Bill, I did it because I really honestly just couldn't believe what was happening at first. This man was using his position as a professor to, in my opinion, indoctrinate students into thinking a way that was pleasing to him. And I didn't feel any college student should have to listen to that. Okay, now the class that you were in, Literatures, Cultures, Identities, all right? And so Arts and Humanities class. I mean, that has nothing to do with politics. So why would this guy, how did he segue into that rant? Well, he was all over the place talking about a number of things. In the full video, you get a clear glimpse of that. But he had started talking about the Romneys and the Republican Party and a few things. And somehow he said he could tie it all together, but still, to this day,
I don't know how it does with literatures, cultures, and identities. About 400 kids in a class, students, whatever. That's a mob. What was the general reaction now that this professor has been taken out of the classroom? He's still getting paid by the university, but he's going to do research probably on the Republican Party. What was the reaction of the students in the class?
Well, at the time, they were all, laughing at his jokes and whatnot. But once I think it started to break out, it's been mixed. I was in the class today before they had announced that Dr. Penn was no longer teaching the class. Parents were calling them. They were really interested in what was going on. But the opinions were mixed. Some felt it didn't. Maybe it was too much. But like I said, a lot of others were. Yeah.
Anybody mad at you?
Nobody knows it was me.
Okay, good. So nobody's directing anger at you. Michigan State University, obviously paid for by the taxpayers of Michigan. Is it a left-wing school? I mean, is a lot of this kind of stuff going on in your experience?
Well, I just started my sophomore year, so I've only been here one complete year yet, and it's unfortunate this had to happen so early in my second year. But I have had to write a couple papers with a left-leaning bias because I knew I wasn't going to get a better grade. I wasn't going to get a good grade if I wrote what I...
You faked the paper to get a good grade. Evan. Now, how was there ever the vice versa, that you had to write a paper from a right-wing point of view to get a good grade?
That has not come out.
It has not happened yet. So, and I know a lot of students do that. They take the political temperature of the professor, and they shoot off propaganda to him or her. But the prevailing wisdom on the campus, in your experience now as a sophomore, is it left-wing, or is this guy Penn an exception?
I certainly wouldn't call him an exception. Like I said, I've had to write a couple papers for a few professors where this kind of thing would happen. Certainly he's the most vocal about his opinions that I've faced, but overall I would say this is it's a college campus. It's pretty liberal.
All right. Evan, thanks very much. We appreciate you coming on tonight. When we come right back, Gutfeld and McGurk on